The noPILLS project is investigating the effects of pharmaceutical waste entering rivers and surface water and if it can be reduced by using both technical and social interventions. Funded by the EU, the study is also examining the effects of pharmaceuticals on aquatic life.
I think if you start on wastewater and the effect that wastewater has on the natural environment, then the most important thing is to get the organic load out of it. So that's what's happening in most sewage works anyway, that the crude organic waste is removed and fertilizers are removed. But then once you get to that level, you ask yourself what is still left in the water, and does that what's still left in the water have an effect on the environment? So we don't really know how big the problem is. But we think it is probably safe enough to say that there will be an effect, and we think it might be time now to start investigating the magnitude of the problem.
The noPILLS project is also multidisciplinary in its nature and brings together a number of different specialisms from across the university.
We have, for example, a microbiologist, we have 3 chemical analysts, we have waste managers, we have social scientists, we have currently 6 PhDs, for example, working on the project as well, and they go across the whole bandwidth of things, so anaerobic digestion, chemical analysis, detailed investigation of microbiological effects on the wastewater, in the receiving environment.
The project is funded by the EU and involves partners from across Northwest Europe, including other universities and water boards.
The benefit we have, especially from Glasgow Caledonia, is that you have these interdisciplinary teams, that you have, for example, communication experts who do a lot of research that we as a water board, for example, cannot do, because we are very much, our core activities are water management, water services, water treatment. And having these scientific experts in exchange on our sites, for example, this is really, really helpful.
There's an awful lot of work that happens before you get out to the river. Getting out to the river is the best bit, but before you decide, where you can sample, you really need to look at where all the inputs are, what the flow of the river is, because that has an impact on the concentrations that you might find. So there's quite a lot of preliminary research. Also, how many drugs do people take? Which drugs do they take? So we need to make a selection, because there's 3,000 different substances that are licensed in the UK, so we can't look for all of them, and we've only got 13 that we are actually going to be monitoring. So just to make that selection took quite a lot of time as well. So then eventually we get down to the river, and then we come back with our data, and then you need to do all the analysis of the data that you've gathered. So really the bit at the river is only a little bit in the middle.
As well as looking at the scientific aspect of the disposal of pharmaceuticals, the noPILLS project also examines consumer behaviour and how people understand medicines and their impact on the environment.
What we are looking at this stage is to find out how people understand medicines, understand the use of pharmaceuticals. So I think there's a really big issue about how people understand their own use of medicines. So we're starting to look at that. So the first stage of the work, which we're in the middle of, will be just doing interviews with people to see how they use medicines, what they think about their use, where they store them, and then more importantly, how they dispose of them.
There's no evidence whatsoever, there's no suggestion there would be any effect to human health if you think of the volume of water flowing down a river, then even if you are in contact with the river water quite a lot, you don't ingest very much of it at all, even if you're swimming in it. And the quantities that you ingest are so much lower than anything that you might take therapeutically that it's really unlikely that there would be any effect on humans whatsoever. So there's no need to be alarmed, and the project is really focused on the effects on ecosystems rather than on human health.